I'm doing another Tao Te Ching chat. So, anybody out there wanting to pick a number between 1 and 81, we are going to talk about the Tao. The Tao is an ancient text. I want you to join me. And Sean, come on, join me, and we'll pick a number between 1 and 81 and start chatting about what the Tao Te Ching has to offer today. If you join me, you can pick a number, and we'll talk about that chapter of the Tao. The Tao is an ancient text that translates to the canon of reason, and it is a text all about living in a reasonable way and what that looks like. And we can have a conversation all about a chapter that is between 1 and 81. The chapters are very short. If you're not familiar with the Tao, I encourage you to join and we can talk about that. So um, the Tao Te Ching is written by Lao Tzu, and I utilize the Stephen Mitchell version, and Stephen Mitchell is the husband of Byron Katie, and he's written a number of books on the Tao, and I would love to have you on and pick a number. The Tao is great. Once again, I utilize that to help me get sober. I'll be talking about recovery at noon today. Usually I do Tuesdays at 1. I talk about recovery, but I'll be doing it at noon today because I have a 1 o'clock. So here's somebody. Catherine, my buddy, going to come on and help me out. We are talking Tao Te Ching. Thank you so much for joining me. I don't want to beg too long.
Hey, no worries. I was just about to get on the begging train myself, so I saw you were in, so I thought I'd
Help a
do
brother out.
what we do in this awesome mentoring community with intention of supporting each other. And
Absolutely.
so pick a number. 13.
Yeah, 13. Lucky number 13.
Yes.
Okay, this is going to be good. Success is as dangerous as failure. Hope is as hollow as fear. What does it mean that success is as dangerous as failure? Whether you go up or down the ladder, your position is shaky. When you stand with your 2 feet on the ground, you will always keep your balance. What does it mean that hope is as hollow as fear? Hope and fear are both phantoms. They arise from thinking of the self. When we don't see the self as self, what do we have to fear? See the world as yourself. Have faith in the way things are. Love the world as yourself. Then you can care for all things. That's it. So let's go right to the beginning. Success is as dangerous as failure. That's such a good way of putting it. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, it is. And I think for me, I immediately thought about how success is just as stressful. Once you get to this level, then you got to hold that ground. And then all of a sudden you have more things to manage and you have more things you have to take care of and be responsible for. And when you're in the failure mode, you feel like you're responsible for everything that went wrong and that's not working, and it's a different type of weight, but they're both weighted positions in some form.
Yeah, that's a beautiful way of putting it, right? Like, because it's not like failure and success, like they're two sides of the same coin. They're the same. They have a lot of the same energy around. I mean, obviously the energy is maybe opposite or different, but it is so there is so much behind those.
Yeah, and they both have unexpected energy. People have this, especially when they're coming from failure and moving into success, the weight of that responsibility can feel very unexpected. Like, oh, wait, now I have to deal with all this? This isn't what I thought of success. I'd be free and running around a field with blowing bubbles.
Right, and that brings us right to the next, not the next line. We'll get back to that, but it brings us to that next stanza where it says, like, whether you go up the ladder or down it, your position is shaky. Like, that's exactly what you're saying, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's a shaky position.
Yeah. Yeah. You have to top your game. And boy, like they say, it's a lot farther to fall
Wow, yeah,
when you're at the top.
yeah. And failure is, like when we look at failure, it's like sometimes just getting started is so daunting. Like just
Yes.
getting out of that space of, failure, getting out of the mindset of failure, getting to a place that you can move into it. Yeah, and then hope is as hollow as fear. That's one that always escaped me. Do you have any thoughts on that? Just
Oh
that
gosh, I
line.
don't like the word hope. It
Good.
feels,
Yeah.
it does feel hollow to me when I hear people, oh, I'm so hopeful. Well, so do you not know how you feel? Do you not know what you want? Are you just hoping that, things will just magically appear out of this nothingness? Don't you have like, I desire it to come true. I feel confident about it. To me, it lacks something, and that's hollow. That's totally spoke to me.
That's so beautiful. I love how you put that, because now I can see their meaning of, like, when they, like, again, down in the thing where it says hope and fear are both phantoms. And I'm like, I know my relationship to fear as being a phantom, but, like, just as you expressed that, I was just like, oh yes, of course hope is a phantom. Hope is, like, positivity about the future, and fear is negativity about the future.
Yeah, but and and hope is, I feel like it's a grasping at straws kind of feeling.
Yeah.
It's it's not just hoping that some sort of magical fairy or gnome will show up for you. It doesn't have a concrete feel to me.
Right. It doesn't have, it doesn't take any control. It doesn't take any responsibility. It's just like, I am just washing my hands of this and looking forward with some sort of, vague positivity.
Yeah, I mean, it is a position of moving up that ladder of feeling more confident. Definitely. Hope is one of those positions when you move out of fear, but it is not a position of strength, of
Yeah.
grounding, as this talks about. At least for me personally, that's how I
No,
feel.
no,
So,
no. Yeah, and that's the only place that we can talk about this from, right? Like, because all of these are about how we interpret what is kind of going on around us and what we're hearing. I mean, I had a conversation with someone on one of my Dao De Ching chats in the past, and they had said, "Oh, what Lao Tzu is saying here," and I was just like, "We don't know what he's saying. We know what we're hearing, and we know how we're interpreting it, but we can't necessarily dictate what this person is saying. Like, the writer's trying to get something across, but what is coming across is what we experience." So, wow, that is such a good one. So yeah, so chapter 13, what does it mean that hope is as hollow as fear? Hope and fear are both phantoms, love vast. They arise from thinking of the self. When we
yeah.
don't see the self as self, what do we have to fear? Right. I see that, as being like, the self is something that we grasp onto, this kind of concept of who we are. And when we can let go of that concept of who we are, then change is something that we can more easily embrace.
Yeah, and fear and hope are places of, I I don't mean imbalance in the world, but I imagine this person on a tightrope, just teetering around, like anything could blow you over, and the goal for you is to get grounded so that you can be stable enough that when you are knocked off the top, you can climb back up. And if you are coming from failure, you can grasp the stairs ahead of you. And if you're in hope and fear, it's you get blown over by anything. You just are wobbly to anybody's opinion, anything that just doesn't quite work. You accidentally spill coffee and the whole day's ruined. It's a
Oh
very
yeah.
stable position.
Right. Because if I say, I hope my day goes well, and then you spill coffee, well, then that's all gone. It
Right.
did. You're done. You're done. Like,
Yeah.
right? Like, and when you don't see, and so, like, this line, when you don't see the self as self, right? When you don't identify with the label of self, when you don't identify with the that hope, I hope the day goes well. When you don't attach yourself to that degree, you're so much more open to what is happening, and where you're headed. Like, right, like now you have a direction that you're heading for, right? You're not just like, I hope the day goes well. Well, what about the day? What do you want to do? How do you want to proceed? Like, and that puts more, that's that when you have 2 feet on the ground, you will always keep your balance, right? Like you,
Hmm.
right? Like that was up in the second stanza with success is as dangerous as failure. Whether you go up the ladder or down it, your position is shaky. When you stand with 2 feet on the ground, you will always keep your balance. And so understanding that, like, there's a grounded nature to, like, and even if we talk about hope, like, the hope is not grounded. It's just like, well, it's just going to happen. Like, and I
Yeah.
hope that it will happen in a way that I can approve of.
Yeah. You don't say, I hope I make it to the grocery store. Well,
Right.
that's scary. I'm not getting in the car with you.
Right. Did you just drink a fifth? I don't know why. What is gonna come in your way?
Yeah,
Um,
it sounds fearful, doesn't it? There's no confidence in it.
right.
And like, and you think to yourself, wow, I mean, do you not know your way? Does the car not work? Like, all of a
Right.
sudden, all these questions come up for me when someone says hope. I'm like, I mean, are there things I should know?
Right. Right. Like
I
that
don't
is
want to get
such
on
a
the
beautiful point.
airplane when the pilot goes, well, I hope we make it to Phoenix.
That's right. Like, who wants to be on that flight?
Right.
Oh man. So then we come to the final stanza, which is see the world as yourself. Have faith in things the way have faith in the way things are. Love the world as yourself, then you can care for all things.
Yes, I like that. And that's, I think you talked about it before of, you put the mask on yourself first, like on the airplane. So we talked about airplanes and sticking with it. But,
Yeah.
they always put the oxygen mask on yourself first, then help the person next to you. It's the same idea. And also that standing strong feeling, like, know where you are now. What the past is what got you to where you are. The future is ahead. That's why you can only, when you're driving a car, the headlights only go so far. You only need to know so much ahead so you don't drive off a curve. So don't worry too much about the future. The past gave you the lessons for where you are now. Everything's okay. Everything's been working out the way it needs to for you to be on your purpose and your path. Just keep moving forward. That's what I heard from it.
Yeah, and that's something that I picked up in my recovery journey. It's this idea that, like, you can drive from New York to California with just your headlights,
Yep.
right? And that just keeps you going, and it's all you need. All you need to know is what's going on right now, and if if you get caught up in wanting to know what's around the next bend, well, you're never going to get there because you're going to always want to, like, walk ahead and then come back and then drive and then, like, you'll never,
Right.
right? You used to be checking everything out. It's like, no, everything is as it is, and here you are with it. And I think that's and when you can separate your identity from that, when you can separate that idea of, like, this isn't this. I can approach this as it is, and I can put my own spin on it, and I can have my own understanding of what this is for me.
Yeah, and it is so much about recognizing that everything that brought you to where you are now, failures, difficulty, challenges, whatever it is along the way, we're all part of the path.
Yeah,
And you learn something from it, whether you learn you have patterns to keep saying the word hope, or you learn patterns of, I'm going to always get up. I may trip and fall
yeah,
every time, but I'm going to keep getting up. Whatever it is, they're all to where you are now. And so look and appreciate who you are now. And you have an opportunity to make the next shift, take the next lesson to go forward. So you can't drive looking in the rear view mirror. I mean, you
right.
could, but it wouldn't take you.
You'd find that to be problematic in the long
Yeah.
run.
Sort of like the word hope going to the grocery store. I have a lot of questions. Why are you looking in the rear view mirror?
Oh, Catherine, thank you so much for joining me. It's always a pleasure to share with you. I'm looking forward to being on your next talk. I do have someone waiting, so I'm going to go ahead and move
Excellent.
over to Victoria, and we're gonna shift you out.
Awesome. Chat
Thank
with
you.
you. Bye.
I think I'm trying to get Victoria to be on, but there may be something going on with the app. I'm not sure. But if you, yeah, there is something happening that I'm not sure of. So I yeah, I hope Victoria will come on. I don't know. Oh well, I'm trying to get Victoria on, but the app is doing some weird stuff. So I don't know if she'll be able to, but I want to, and I don't even know if I'm continuing to record at this point. So I am going to continue talking, but we were just talking about, Catherine and I were talking about this. She talked about two interesting points. One of which was that mental, like that idea, you grow through what you go through, right? Like that which you experience in your life is a big aspect of what you're going to ultimately grow into and turn into. And then she also, hey, you know what? I am off my game at this point because the app just kind of conked out on me, unfortunately. So I am going to kind of restart my device and see if that helps. And if I can, I'll come back on. I don't know if this is going to save or not, or what's going on. I love doing the DAO chats, and I hope I got an opportunity to save that. Maybe I will do another one shortly. But there was some sort of a glitch, and once again, I don't know if this is recording or if this is live or not. But I'm cutting out now, and thank you all. Victoria, if you are here, I would love to connect with you. Once again, my apologies. Something went wrong with the app.